viewers, last time we started on a theme, how to form and register cooperative society. And we had a topic, why embrace cooperatives? We have discussed that, and today our topic is how to form cooperative and achieve best results. The point is that forming cooperative is a specialized duty. It is not for everybody. It is not like going to CSE to register a company. In the case of forming a cooperative society, we have to follow up sequentially. In the process of following up, what happens is that the members get to know about how cooperative functions. And it is important for them to get to know before they are issued certificate of registration. Incidentally, this is where the cooperative society becomes different with the case of registering companies. You go and register a company and then you start your business. In the case of cooperative, you begin to form cooperative, which is part of doing the actual work. And then by the time you are getting to know about the practice, you are being issued the registration certificate. So it is important for us to discuss the different steps of forming cooperative society. Of course, somebody has to promote the formation of a cooperative society, and we call that person promoter. The promoter may be from the Department of Cooperative Services, or he may even be a private person who is interested in becoming a member of a cooperative society, who has an idea of what needs to be done. Or sometimes it may just be somebody who is interested but is not necessarily thinking about joining that cooperative society. So the first step in forming a cooperative society is to identify groups of people who have common needs and want to work together to find how to resolve their needs or problems. And usually these needs are business needs, business ideas that they need to come together to be able to solve. That is the basic first step. It must be people who are interested in working together as a team. Sometimes people do not know that they need to work together to actualize their vision. So by talking to individuals, they get to know the necessity to work together as a team. So by the time we identify people who have common needs and are ready to come together to discuss how to forge on, how to address these needs, we are handling the first stage of forming cooperative society. Now, the next stage, when we have identified people, of course, when the promoter identifies, he encourages the people who he has identified to also reach out to their colleagues and friends who are likely to be interested in being part and parcel of that cooperative society. So these are the people that will form the group that will get to the next stage, second stage of a talk. And then the promoter, what he does at this stage is to convene a preliminary meeting meeting of all these people who have probably agreed that they can work together so that they discuss further the possibilities of doing so. And basically, what happens in further discussions is just for them to agree on what the needs they have, the areas that they need to engage in. What type of businesses do they need to do? Are they going to do thrift? Are they going to go into agriculture? Are they going to industry? That is why we say that these people who come together must have common interest, common need. They should be people who are exposed to the same environment of issues. So it becomes very easy for them to understand what is being discussed and possibly to accept to be part and parcel of that working together. So if we pass the second stage of where we have confirmed, virtually confirmed, that the people that have been grouped together, they have been taught together, have accepted what is being discussed, they are ready to pool their resources together and work as a team to meet their needs, to address their needs, the business areas of their interest. Then what the promoter does in the third stage is to organize an exploratory meeting to consolidate the discussions that he has held and then choose a steering committee. The steering committee is very significant because the promoter has to withdraw after a stage of encouraging the group of people to come together. The promoter has to withdraw at a point of in time. And so this exploratory meeting of whereby a steering committee is put in place helps him to pull aside. The steering committee now takes over the initiative of pursuing the agenda of discussing further and promoting the cause of the formation of the cooperative society. So they are actually the people who are interested in being part of the cooperative, owning up the responsibility of encouraging themselves and then deciding further to go ahead. Now, when they pass this stage, stage 3, they get to stage 4, where the steering committee now decides to reach out to the area cooperative office. And what they go to do there is to inform the cooperative department that they have taken a decision to form cooperative. And the idea is to get the support of the department, for the department to visit them and find out, how they are faring, and possibly give them technical information on what they require to register the cooperative society eventually with the department. However, I am not going to mention some of those requirements, but there are things like, because we are going to discuss that in detail in next lecture, next video, but there are things that are important, like the business report, a business case that you have to, the cooperative has to produce. Then there is also the bylaw and quite a number of other things. We'll be discussing all that next time. So, having done all that, as the cooperative societies engage in the the various processes of forming the cooperative society, they no doubt learn about the operations of a cooperative society. That is why it is important to take a fairly long process, for registering. That is the period they are learning. And usually it doesn't take anything less than 3 months. In the past, it could take as much as 5 months before a cooperative society is registered, but it doesn't quite happen that way. So we are done with that aspect of our lecture today. Next time, we'll be looking at why cooperative society has to be registered and the materials that are required to register them. That is what we'll be discussing in our next lecture in 1 week time. Now, I want to use this opportunity also to bring about the information or news item on some of the activities of cooperatives. Some cooperatives, the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment recently, provided some support for cooperative societies in Nasarawa state. And what they provided was supplies of processing equipment, different processing equipment, just to assist the cooperative societies, the benefiting cooperative societies, technically. And the ceremony was performed in Abuja, and it was quite good. Why I'm even raising it is that this is what something like the state departments of cooperatives are supposed to be doing, providing input, support to cooperative societies, like in form of equipment, in form of training and all that. What we experience is just too much of regulation. The cooperative societies also need technical support, input support. And these are some of the things the state departments of cooperatives should be looking into. When they budget for them, I'm sure, and they're able to explain it well, the state governments may be disposed to assist them. So this is where we call it a day, but please remember to press the buttons and then share, so that because we need all the viewership to continue to be afloat. Thank you and God bless.